Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today is commemorated as International Day of Solidarity with Palestinian people on 29th November every year. So, in 1977, the General Assembly called for the annual observance of 29th November as International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people by Resolution 32 by 40B. On that day, in 1947, the Assembly adopted the resolution on the partition of Palestine, Resolution 181. In Resolution 60 by 37 of 1st December 2005, the General Assembly requested the Committee on Exercise of Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People and the Division of Palestinian Rights as part of 29th November observance of International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people to continue to organize an annual exhibit of Palestinian rights or to hold a cultural event in cooperation with the permanent observer mission of Palestine to the United Nations. The resolution on this observance also encouraged member states to continue to give the widest support and publicity to the conference. So, despite ongoing efforts over more than 70 years, a lasting peace in the Middle East remains elusive, highlighting the urgent need for a sustainable resolution. This year's observance takes place amid a fragile ceasefire in Gaza following severe violence and a humanitarian crisis that has claimed the lives of tens of thousands and forcibly displaced hundreds of thousands more. Today is also commemorated as Electronic Greetings Day on November 29th. We celebrate by sending greeting cards, e-cards to person on our contact list that we haven't chatted with by then. Can you imagine that only 5% of Americans were on social media in 2005? E-cards, also known as electronic cards, are digital greeting cards or postcards created using digital media. And these cards are usually sent via email or social media and don't require the recipient to print them out. E-cards can contain animation and text and are of various types, including video e-cards, e-card games, mobile e-cards, and flash animation. So while the telegraph, invented in the 19th century, marked the beginning of innovation in communication technology, it was when the internet arrived a century later that social media became possible. So the first social media variant, the Plato system, which was launched in 1960, the system entered the market while the first iteration of the internet, the ARPANET, was still in works. The Plato system offered a message forum application notes in an instant messaging feature, term talk, and online chat room, Chalkomatic, and more. In 1967, the ARPANET came online and evolved into the internet in 1970s. That was followed by introduction of personal computers in 1980s. Both of these inventions set stage for the development of social media in 1990s and beyond. In November 1994, one of the earliest social networking services, GeoCities, entered the market. Close behind it was Classmates, launched in 1995, and then 6 Degrees, the first online platform that allowed use of real names in 1997. 6 Degrees is considered the first social networking site as it allowed people to sign up with their email, create profiles, and add friends to their personal network. The 2000s saw the explosion of social media platforms, including LinkedIn, MySpace, and Friendster. Platforms like PhotoBucket and Flickr introduced online photo sharing, and YouTube revolutionized how videos are shared online. In 2006, Facebook, Twitter took the world by storm, becoming the two most popular social media platforms in the world. Between 2009 and 2010, the world saw the introduction of WhatsApp, Instagram, and Snapchat following allowing photo and video sharing in 2020. At the height of the pandemic, TikTok became the well-known, quickly becoming popular among millennials and Gen Zs. Today is also commemorated as Israel Women Day on November 29. Every year, it is named after the Israel women, an unidentified woman whose lifeless body was found in 1970 in Norway, close to Bergen. The aim of this day isn't just to raise awareness of this unsolved mystery, but more importantly, to pay tribute and to remember all those who have died in mysterious or disputed ways, especially so if their remains weren't being able to be identified. It's also a day to reflect on their own families and loved ones. It's hard enough to deal with the grief, but it's even worse if you don't know what exactly happened. On the afternoon of November 29, 1970, a man and his two young daughters were hiking in the foothills of the north face of Ulriken, Norway, in an area known as Isdalen Ice Valley. It is also called as Death Valley due to the area's history of suicides in the Middle Ages and the more recent string of hiking accidents. They noticed an unusual burning smell, and one of the daughters found charred body of a woman located among some rocks. The family returned to Bergen and notified the police. Examining the body, police discovered that the front of her body and her clothes had been severely burned and she was unrecognizable. Near the body, there was no campfire, but there were several items affected by the fire, including a plastic passport container, an empty bottle of liquor, traces of burnt paper, and beneath the body was a fur hat that was later found to have traces of petrol. All identifying marks and labels have been removed or rubbed off. An autopsy revealed, an autopsy revealed that she has died from a combination of incapacitation by phenobarbital and poisoning by carbon monoxide. She had consumed between 50 and 70 Fenmal brand sleeping pills, and 12 more were found next to her body. Soot was also found in her lungs, indicating she was alive when she was burned and her neck was bruised. So the last time she had seen alive was on November 23rd when she checked out of room number 407 of Hotel Hadman, Orderman, and based on handwritten check-in forms, police were able to determine she had traveled around Norway and Europe with at least 8 fake passports and aliases, and she had previously stayed at several other hotels in Bergen and was also known to change rooms after checking in. For these reasons, many believe that she was a spy, and some authorities think there is evidence that she was murdered. On February 5th, 1971, she was given a burial based on her use of saint names or check-in forms sitting in an unmarked grave within the Molander graveyard in Bergen. The case was reopened in 2016 and new information came to light since, but she remains unidentified to this day. Today is also commemorated as National Lemon Cream Pie Day in US. While lemon custards, puddings, and pies have been made since medieval times, meringue was perfected in 17th century. Lemon meringue pie, as it is known today, is a 19th century product. The earlier recorded recipe was attributed to Alexander Freshy, a Swiss baker from Romania. Food historian Becky Diamond refers to a good fellow as the mother of lemon meringue pie. Lemon pudding was considered one of the good fellow's signature creations, and she is created with several varieties. Whether served alone or in a pastry crust as pie, lemons were a delicacy in the early 1800s, but readily available in a busy port such as Philadelphia. Today is also commemorated as Small Business Saturday now on November 29. In US, after Thanksgiving, it's the age of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's easy to skip over mom and pop shop or the big box store or online retailer. But SBS sponsors hope you don't forget about smaller neighborhood shops. The day is also an opportunity for small business to learn and upgrade their branding, such as creating an online presence or working with micro influencers. Oddly enough, American Express, a US corporation with $37 billion in revenue in 2018, started Small Business Saturday in 2010. The US Small Business Administration (SBA) joined as a co-sponsor. 5 years later, SBS has become an important part of how small business launched their busiest shopping season. According to the 2018 SBS Consumer Insight Survey, total reported spending among US consumers who had said shopped at independent retailers and restaurants on the day had reached a record high of approximately $17.8 billion. The same survey reported that more than 70% of the consumers are now aware of the Small Business Saturday initiative. Based on this annual survey over the years, SBS spending has now reached a reported estimate of $103 billion since the day began. So SBA Women Impacting Public Policy, in short known as WIPP, and American Express hopes to drive traffic and revenue to America's 30 million independent business through Small Business Saturday events. The US Small Business Administration, created in 1953, helps Americans start, build, and grow business. It's an independent agency of the federal government, but built to aid, counsel, assist, and protect the interest of small business concerns, to preserve free, competitive enterprises, and to maintain and strengthen the overall economy of our nation. Among other things, the SBA provides small business with access to capital, entrepreneurial development, government contracting, and advocacy. Perhaps most importantly, the SBA offers free counseling, low-cost training to new entrepreneurs, and established small businesses in over 1,800 locations. Today is also commemorated as Square Dancing Day on November 29, celebrated every year in US to honor the square dance form of folk dancing. This enjoyable, helpful, and simple kind of dancing with a lengthy history deserves its festival and is at roots in traditional English, Irish, and Scottish folk dance. To grasp the significance of square dancing, you must first learn about the square dance. This is a form of dance in which 8 persons are divided into 4 different partners. Each pair is arranged in a square with one couple to each side of the square facing the center. Today is also commemorated as Throw Out Your Leftovers Day in US, which can be also a substitute of give away your leftovers. The goal of this day is to get us all to throw away the leftovers that are rotting in fridge and frankly too far gone for consumption. Stocking up is one thing, but hoarding food, especially leftovers, are not just bad for your fridge, but also detrimental to your health. So eating days old leftovers regularly can rob your body of important nutrients because when food is kept away for a long time, the nutrition levels go down and some food items may become toxic. So do your gut a favor and throw or share your leftovers before it gets rotten or spoiled. So with your busy schedules, cooking fresh food every day can get rather hectic. Storing food in containers or wrapped up in plastic foils is pretty common these days. While it's all well and good, sometimes we simply forget that there is food in the fridge and the results in food getting spoiled, going to waste, and ultimately stinking up the fridge. There's no real reason why throw out your leftovers day originated, except to remind us to clean our fridges. But how do we end up hoarding leftovers? Other than forgetfulness, it is often a poor personal habit. The most common of which are poor food shopping habits. Many of us struggle with estimating how much we should cook for our families and therefore end up overdoing it. This is very common when we have guests over and don't know how much food it will be consumed during a meal. To prevent embarrassment, we often overcompensate and cook way beyond what is consumed. When we inevitably end up with too much food, the extras go in the fridge, followed by us forgetting about them. Another thing we should be concerned about is how good the old food is for our health. In most cases, the taste isn't compromised much yet. You can feel the difference between freshly cooked food and your leftovers. However, some argue that the nutritional value of leftover food is far lower than freshly cooked food, and it's best not to consume them over long periods. Throw out your leftovers or share it before it gets spoiled, which is a perfect opportunity to not just clean out your fridge but also evaluate your habits. So you can share it to others who are in need or compost the food or have it in the next day. Another method is freezing it to enjoy a later stage or adding them to a new dish of your invention. Leftovers can be kept for 3 or 4 days depending on the food and the kind of preparation in the refrigerator and eat them within that time, and the risk of poisoning increases thereafter depending on the food. According to the FDA food code, all perishable foods that are opened or prepared should be thrown out after 7 days. So get rid of old food that has been lying there for a week and replace them with fresh vegetables and fruits. This is the best way to celebrate the day. Take the day to also give your fridge a good do over. Air it out, deep cleanse it, and more remove the stink from the leftovers. Be mindful of your habits. Learn how to shop and cook in the right amounts to prevent leftovers from piling up. And this is also a great way to reduce wastage. Food wastage is a serious issue that concerns every one of us. When you cook the right amount of food, you ensure that none is going to waste. And this day aims to make people realize the importance of food and why one must not waste it. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been raised in the form of votes.